Welcome to AmeLiaRun channel. My name's AmeLia. Today I'll be reviewing the KIPRUN KIPRIDE Max. This is a shoe I bought for myself in my size of 8.5M directly from Running Warehouse. And this shoe is a French brand that I am looking forward to diving into because I've never actually ran in a pair of KIPRUNs prior to this. We'll get into there with the nerdy details, but today's review, as always, I'll be discussing the nerdy details for this shoe, fit, trying to project the durability, as well as discussing ride, versatility, and value for the shoe. All my reviews are timestamped, regardless of where when buyers are shopping, for easier reference. Also, I'll be trying my best to kind of maybe give you a short little bio as far as the brand of KIPRUN. I know that's something that it's a brand that not many folks know of, so I'd love to go over that here a little bit. If you have any questions about this shoe, just let me know. I'm not a perfect resource when it comes to this. These views are just my own. I purchased this with my own money. But with that said, I've been really appreciating the comments we've been getting, and I hope you're all staying healthy and safe. Let's dive right into the review. Starting with the nerdy details for the KIPRUN KIPRIDE Max. This is a max cushion daily trainer. It was released I had an approximate date here. It said April 6th of this year. That sounds about right. From my understanding, this was available overseas, but for global/US buyers, it was available as far as April timeframe. This is a 9.8 ounce shoe. It features a 44 millimeter heel, 38 millimeter forefoot stack for a 6 millimeter drop. It features what they call M foam. It's an EVA blend, kind of a little bit of your EVA foam with an unspecified amount of PIBA. You see somewhere on here too, it says Soft Tech Plus, getting some kind of mixed information regarding the features of this shoe. I'll just go ahead and say, from my understanding, it's probably mostly EVA foam with a little bit of PIBA foam for a little bit extra pizzazz, maybe a little extra pep in its step. Kind of what you're seeing from a lot of multi-foam kind of blends right now. It also has an E-mesh, it calls it, a knit mesh upper. Look, I don't know what it is exactly when it comes to everybody making their own names for their mesh uppers, but I like this one. And the tongue's also mesh. It's really comfy because of that, I've noticed. Very attractively priced. This is for a fringe, I'd say a fringe super daily trainer with, because, anytime you blend the two foams, you're in discussion right there with, the likes of your popular names like, the Nike Vomero Plus, the Adidas Evo SL. So right there, this is 160 bucks. I think we'll get into that in value in a little bit, but that's the price. I do want to take a quick detour. It's not usually on my itinerary, but I'll put this into the nerdy details side. KIPRUN. So they are a specialty brand. From my understanding, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't live overseas, of course. I'm not in the European countries. It's from the athletic brand. Kind of like how we have Dick's Sporting Goods here in the U.S. Decathlon is kind of like the big sports chain based out of France. From my understanding, this is kind of like if you ever go to like REI in the States, REI Co-op, how REI Co-op has their own brand. This is kind of like their version of that, or like the Dick's Sporting Goods brands. You might get like DSG brand golf stuff. Sounds like, from what I'm understanding, KIPRUN is the running brand Decathlon has official as far as their being in the fray for running shoe and various different running sport. Be really interested one day, maybe if I'm ever overseas, to go to a Decathlon location. Be interesting to see maybe how it differs from what we have here in the States. But I digress. Discussing the fit for this shoe, it fits wonderful. I am like I said, 8.5M, but I'm typically my feet run a little wide. I did have to change up the lacing, but that's not anything against this shoe. It's just kind of how I am with my needs for higher volume of shoe. Aside from that, fit just right. I think this mesh upper is very accommodating. I don't think it's like too. I don't think it's too narrow. I don't think it's too restrictive. Once I had my lacing changed, and it wasn't like, even when I just had base lacing on this, it wasn't like suffocating my feet necessarily. I just like a little bit more room, a little bit more volume. I'll tell you, with the fit of this shoe, I was really expecting it to be like really hot of a shoe, but even like in our hotter summer runs I've had this out on, breathes really well for a mesh shoe. Not to mention one that looks like it'd be typically for easy days or just daily miles, a little bit on the slower end. Expected it to run hot. This doesn't really. I think whatever blend they have there for the mesh, it's really it airs out really well, I suppose would be the best way to put it. Talk about durability, though. This is something that, I don't have an exact number for y'all. I think somewhere between 20 and 30 miles. I'm not too sure on it, so I don't want to necessarily have that quoted. But about 30, we'll say about 30 miles. It still looks pristine, especially for what I'm assuming is mostly Eva foam in this shoe. Definitely felt like a squishy shoe as I was running in, so I was worried about durability. But you see some general wear from the road, but where I typically look at is more like the rubber outsole parts. Those all look like they're still intact. The lateral wall, and even the medial wall, both look like they're in pretty good shape. That gives me a lot of optimism. You'll probably see an extended run review for this because I'm a big fan of this shoe. I'll probably be continuing miles in it. Getting into the ride versatility and value for this shoe, the ride is very comfortable. I don't think it's not really reinventing the wheel. It's no nonsense. It reminds me a lot of the New Balance Balos, one of my first reviews I've had. Difference between this and the New Balance Balos, though, was that, that was a $200 super trainer. This is $160. A lot of the mesh stuff here, and again, that Eva mostly, but then also Piva foam blend, that DNA kind of feels like, again, exactly what they were kind of going for with the Balos. I loved the Balos to some extent. I just think that the price really put me off of it. Even on a discount, typically you wouldn't get it any more than 170, 180 if I remember right. Still wasn't quite worth that. But at 160, I really like the pricing of this. It's peppy. It's not necessarily a speed shoe, but for like a shoe that would look like it's typically for your slower days, it is a daily trainer that will kind of move and groove you a little bit, despite being Eva foam. Like I said, you're not going to be going and doing strides in this, but if you're looking for maybe a bit on the slower side daily miles, but you don't want to completely sacrifice it and have a shoe that feels dead, that's not going to be what you find here. I found it was just lively enough. I think there's just enough Piva foam in that blend to carry it pretty well. And again, I think Piva versus Eva foam, it gets kind of a bad rap. We had Eva foam forever. It's just that a lot of the Piva blend foams are maybe a little bit more versatile for the everyday runner. And how much of that's marketing, it really depends on how you feel. I really do wish this shoe was available in wide sizes because I feel like it would be a little bit more accessible for folks. But as far as versatility, I'd say that this is I do apologize. You'll probably be hearing this in quite a few of my reviews in the future. As a quick aside, my puppies are fighting. We got 2 new pups. They are a handful. They're just about 4 months old, so they're pretty lively right now. I do apologize. Anyways, sorry for the distraction. As far as versatility for this shoe, daily miles, easier miles. I think it can handle both of those with poise. I took it out on a long run at about 6 miles for me. I know that's not for some people, but for me, 6 miles is a little bit longer. I got along with it pretty well for 6 miles. I wouldn't take this out on a trailhead by any means, but for a road shoe, I think it's easy to get along with for pretty much everything that isn't speed related. Talking about value, at $160, I think this is very attractively priced. I think you are getting a easy or daily trainer with some capabilities for longer runs. It's a very attractive shoe too, I think, for the price. Sorry, dogs are fighting. It's definitely an attractive shoe for the price. There's some other ones I won't name that I'm reviewing right now. I think this has them beat pretty soundly as far as how it stacks up, both for price and what it provides for you. I'd say this goes toe to toe with the Vomero Plus. I think this is something that is definitely an underrated shoe. I think this is an underrated shoe that a lot of folks are going to sleep on. You'll definitely be hearing me talk about it towards the end of the year for my awards. I'm not trying to tip my hand, but I definitely think this shoe deserves a lot more love than it's getting right now. Getting into final thoughts for the KIPRUN KIPRIDE Max. As I kind of alluded to towards the end there, talking about value, I think this is a great value shoe. I think this is something that you're going to really enjoy, and I think it's something that for the price, I think it's just right. For $160, I think that you are getting a capable daily trainer. If you are geared more towards speed and just overall blazing trails, it's not going to necessarily be your best friend for that, but that's not the case for a lot of folks. Well, I guess I should say a lot of folks. That's not the case for everybody. I'm sure there's plenty of speedsters out there that see this shoe and go, no, not that, or they see the brand name and they're like, I don't know what that means. I don't know that one. That doesn't seem good. I'm rest assured, I'm telling you that this is quality. I know they got another shoe out, like more of like a tempo faster shoe. Be curious to check that out sometime in the near future. Sorry with the dogs. I highly recommend this shoe. I'm giving it a Banana Nice award.
Banana Nice?
You might have noticed I put in a little sound there for this, so I am trying to add things on to the channel here. But let me know if you got any questions regarding this shoe. Keep it short and sweet. I hope you're all staying healthy and safe, and I'll talk to you all here in the next review.